Hey everyone, welcome back to another Operation Meteor Report, your weekly stop for all things Gundam card game and Assemble. That's right, we have some Assemble news today, which I'm really happy to share with you guys. Thanks to Kyle Brander on Reddit for sharing information from the community. This past weekend, Gen Con, the greatest 4 days of gaming, the best 4 days of gaming, Bandai actually had some product out there for Gundam Assemble to show off to fans. We end up seeing the models of the Wing Zero Endless Waltz version. We saw Deathside Hell. We saw the Mighty Strike Freedom. We saw, I think, a Zakura and Jin and a few others. They also displayed a couple of kits as well for the event. The user did point out that compared to the circular bases that we're used to, we're going to see a hex base for that. So meaning that this game will likely take place on hex squares, which typically is found in most games. If you're familiar with like PC games like Civilization, I think Warhammer, and I want to say Star Wars Destiny, if I remember correctly, were all hex-based games. So when we get more information, we'll share it. My hope is that we'll see more probably at PAX Unplugged here in November. If we do get information, we'll share it. And my hope is that I'm planning to go to PAX Unplugged if Bandai has a presence there. I really am curious and really want to get involved with that product, especially since I'm a huge Gunpla fan. Speaking of Gen Con, we had 4 days of tournaments there. I believe they were all capped at 64 each. Each day had a different winner with a different deck. The catch is that none of the traditional green, white, or green, blue blocker decks won it. I'm not too surprised. American players typically are a little bit more aggressive and faster with their gameplay compared to European and Asian players from my experience with games like Legend of the Five Rings and a few others. On Thursday, player Daniel Imperial played a blue-red cyber new type deck. Friday, the Egman. If you're not aware of who that is, the Egman is a Bandai content creator, puts together tournaments, does a lot of meta analysis, and a great player overall. They ended up winning with a red-blue aggro ping deck. I will have a link to their video describing what their playstyle was, and they're going to go into more depth with the rest of these meta decks. On Saturday, a player named Sand played a blue-green Federation aggro deck, and then on Sunday, we had a blue-red cyber new type aggro. I will have a link for Egman. They went ahead and compiled a list of decks that were there that day. Can't say it's complete, meaning I'm not sure if they're top 8, top 16. I mean, we could be missing the third and fourth players. They were not given information by anyone. They kind of went and, was more word of mouth, writing down notes and stuff from the players to talk about these decks. Egman is also running a triple win-a-box tournament starting on the 7th. There is an entry fee. It'll be through Best Coast Pairings. Catches is that you can play these games via webcam, meaning that you'll need a webcam and a microphone to communicate with your player and show them what cards you're playing with. Proxies are illegal, though, so if you're missing cards that you normally don't have access to, or you put in forward, you don't have product nearby, you can print out the cards, put them in sleeves with probably another card game that you have on there, and that's totally legal. As long as they don't give you any clear advantage, proxies can be allowed for this event. They will be giving out 3 boxes among the top 8 players, so it's a good way to get product if you're low on stuff, but you have a great skill set to back it up with. Shout out to the Egman and the community as a whole for trying to give people a way to play this game outside their local scene. Now we'll get to our announcements of the Japanese tournaments. Now, this is what I expected more of. We ended up having the B block happening for the official play over there. A player named Serimaru ended up winning with a green-white wing deck. I'm not surprised that the second player also won with the green-white deck. There are some small nuances. I'll share those pictures a little bit more. You guys can pause the videos on those timestamps. But this is typically where you have blockers out there to help you get to the resource needs so you start slamming down your better characters on turns 3 and 4. I expect more of that to be common among players as a whole. So keep in mind that the meta is not set. There's not a tier 0 deck or an S deck. Right now, we're still experimenting. So feel free. I mean, like I said, Gen Con completely threw everyone off. The green-white decks did end up losing in the top 2. So keep it in mind, folks. We still got a lot of game to play. And especially if you're going to Dallas, there's still a lot of time to prep for it. Now we'll get on to the announcements from over the weekend. There will be a Mobile Suit Gundam 30th Anniversary Premium Accessory Set that will be on sale later in this month of August. Pre-orders are scheduled to start on the Premium Bandai site. So if you don't have a Premium Bandai account, make one today, so that way you have a chance to get some of these. If I've seen anything else of this game so far, like it came with the dice and the starter deck boxes, those are going to sell it quick. People are really collecting stuff on here. I wouldn't be too surprised if they come out with a Gundam Wing box that contain an EX base and EX resource that you can play for the game as well. Part of the reveals this weekend included the Iron Bloom starter deck and the Clown Unity starter deck featuring Iron-Blooded Orphans and G-Quads. Iron Bloom will be released on September 27th, while the Clown Unity deck will be released on October 25th. We also will be getting on October 25th the booster pack Dual Impact featuring Gundam Age, Gundam X, and Zeta Gundam. There is a rumor out there, and I've seen a photo and just a photo of it, that there's potential for anything that was released in set 1 to also have new cards released in set 2. So we might see the Zeon or the Element from Gundam, the Epion from Wing. There's the Caliburn from Witch. I mean, the list can go on about all the cards that we're currently missing. Now we're going to talk about the market. I will still stand on this. The market is still volatile and still going to see some influx going up and down for at least another week. Reason being is that we're still seeing product being tossed out there. I know folks that bought boxes through Premium Bandai are going to get their allocation in the next week or two. So don't be too surprised if one day you go on to like TCG Player and you see a card like the Gundam Death Sight that allows you to gain an EX resource, a exhausted resource, or the First Strike, and it goes up by like $2 and then drops $5 the next day. We're seeing products still coming out. There's apparently word of mouth is that stores will be getting a second allocation here in the next few weeks. So the prices could plummet, or maybe that rumor gets debunked, and then FOMO happens and prices ramp back up. I can't tell you how to really engage the market. I've never been super great at it. Daily Gigabyte and has created a site on called magicalmeta.inc. I'll put a link to that. They're tracking transactions on TCG Player. If you're not familiar with TCG Player, it's a site that you can go and buy single cards, and in some cases booster boxes and starter deck boxes from other people on there. Some are actual legitimate stores, and others are just single players. My word of advice on this is find ones that have high amount of transactions and have good customer feedback, and always buy insurance just in case you do get scammed. I know it's an extra couple of bucks to ensure that you're going to get that product, but you can never be too crazy about places selling fake cards and stuff in this modern age, unfortunately. What I found in their video was they've shown off that some cards like Show of Resolve and the Shenlong Gundam GD0029 are going up in price. I found on their site that anything that had a plus card value on there was going up. I mean, people are looking at ways to boil some of their favorite cards, so it's not too much of a surprise to see that. Another card I saw on there was the Gundam Banshee on there in Unicorn mode. That was having high transaction costs today, and Battle of Aces is going up in price because of the Eggman's deck at Gen Con from this past weekend. Right now, the GD01001 LR++ is the highest card on there, so it's ranging between $175 to $200. People are trying to increase or drop the price. I think there is some market manipulation there, so I couldn't tell to really to buy or sell that card right now because I couldn't tell you the stuff going on in the background. They did point out in their video, and I want to make this a point too, is that in our booster packs, we are starting to see that we are getting those resource cards. Those resource cards right now might be at an all-time low, but as more players come in and those don't get reprinted and someone comes into the game later, those could go up in price. Like he said that this happened in One Piece especially. So if you're looking at selling those, hang on to them. And if you're looking to get those cards, I'd buy them now, so that way you can keep your full sets before you have to pay double or triple the price on that. They did a great job there. I've now have that bookmark on my page, and we'll use that in the upcoming weeks to see if prices rise or fall with certain cards as more competitive decks come out to play. Our world question of the week happened over the weekend. My local guys were playing a game trying to get their bearings. They asked me, "Hey Sal, can my opponent play an action if I pass as the standby player? And I'm like, yeah, and we had to pull up the rules. Section 8 has the entire action phase step listed on there. So what we'll need to look at is what actions that the standby player takes, which are they can play a command card, activate an action on a unit or base, or they pass. Then the active player gets to take those same options. When both players pass, that's when no more actions can be played, and then we proceed on with the resolution of the conflict. With that, the only thing I have to say is that I feel for you guys out there who don't get any product. I come from a background where, I grew up not having much cash to play card games growing up, and I've been fortunate to do that, and I can definitely empathize with the fact. I can only tell you that it sucks being the guy who can't get the product because I don't live in the area, because they don't carry it at my local stores, or they price me out. I was there with Lorcano. I got in at the second chapter. It was a Rise of Floodborne, and man, I think I paid way too much for what it is. And, I kind of felt bad with a lot of folks who can't even play that game on there. I know Riftbound's going to have similar issues. They had some problems with their launch in terms of customers getting product, and it's going to be like that for at least a few. So hang in there. If you guys need to play games, like I just pointed out earlier, the Eagle Lunas is line proxies, so you can still play, try to win product just by paying a couple bucks. Hopefully that helps get some of you guys invested in playing the game a little bit more, and we'll find some other options to hopefully get you guys playing the game. I've always harp on the fact that I played the teaching app from Bandai. It's a good way to at least allow you to try to see if you can find cards that you like that you might be able to buy on TCG Player, and that way you don't have to spend upwards of $500. You may be able to get away spending like $120 instead and be competitive at your local scene. And with that, keep an eye out. I hope you guys have a good week. We'll have some more content throughout the week. We did a Mobile Suit Monday profile of the RX-78 yesterday. This coming Friday, we'll do a profile on the Pilot Armor Array. We'll do pack opening, and I'll try to get a pronunciation guide out as well. I know that the cards from the Witch, from Mercury, and Unicorn can be a bit of a bother, so we'll hopefully get that out for you guys as well. And with that, go forth, Gundam Team.